I was tired all the time, until I changed what I ate. There was a time, not too long ago, when getting through the day felt like climbing a mountain. I'd wake up groggy, even after a full night's sleep. My limbs felt heavy, like they belonged to someone else. Just walking from the bedroom to the kitchen made me feel like I needed a nap. Coffee helped a little, but only for an hour or two. After that, the fog would roll back in. I wasn't sick, exactly. I was just exhausted. All the time. At first, I thought it was just age catching up with me. After all, I was well into my 60s, and slowing down seemed natural. That's what most people say, right? You're getting older, you're supposed to feel tired. But deep down, something didn't sit right with me. It wasn't just physical fatigue. It was mental, emotional, soul-deep fatigue. And I knew I couldn't live the rest of my life like this. That's when I started paying closer attention to what I was putting in my body. Now let me be honest. I wasn't living on junk food. I cooked meals at home, tried to eat healthy, and avoided most processed stuff. But something was clearly missing, or maybe something was sneaking in that was draining me more than I realized. One afternoon, after collapsing on the couch, for the second time that day I opened my laptop and searched, "Why am I always tired after 60?" That single search opened a door I never expected to walk through. Fatigue. After 60 isn't just getting older. It's often what you eat. What I discovered shocked me. Aging does slow certain processes in the body. Yes, but most of the fatigue we feel after 60 isn't inevitable. It's the result of inflammation, poor nutrient absorption, imbalanced blood sugar, and gut health problems, all directly tied to what we eat. And the more I read, the more I realized I wasn't fueling my body for energy. I was unknowingly draining it. Even some of the so-called healthy foods I ate were spiking my blood sugar, disrupting my digestion, or giving me almost no lasting energy. Worse, I wasn't eating enough of the foods that could actually help me recharge, rebuild, and restore my stamina naturally. I made a decision right then. I would find the foods that worked with my aging body, not against it. Energy after 60 requires a different approach. You see, when we were younger, we could eat just about anything and bounce back. Our metabolism ran hot, our digestion was fast, and our recovery was quick. But after 60, the rules change. Our digestive enzymes decrease. Our ability to absorb nutrients like B12, magnesium, and iron drops. Muscle mass naturally declines, and inflammation becomes more common, so it makes sense that our diets have to evolve too. I started looking for foods that were nutrient-dense, anti-inflammatory, easy to digest, and supportive of energy production at the cellular level. Not just quick fixes like caffeine or sugar, but real whole foods that would work over time to restore my body's strength. And slowly but surely, things started to shift. The first week, small changes, big realizations. I didn't do anything drastic at first. I just swapped out a few things in my daily routine. My breakfast, my snacks, even the oil I was using to cook. I'll go into those specific foods in the next sections, but for now, let me just say, I could feel the difference, almost immediately. That first week, I noticed I wasn't crashing at 2 p.m. anymore. My brain felt clearer. I could focus again. My digestion improved, and I wasn't waking up feeling like I'd run a marathon in my sleep. By the end of the second week, I had more energy in the mornings than I'd felt in years. I was waking, up before my alarm, without dragging myself out of bed. I started walking more. Even my mood lifted, and that's when it hit me. I didn't need more sleep. I needed better fuel. Your body is still capable. It just needs the right tools. This experience taught me something I wish I'd known earlier. My body isn't broken. It's just been underfed in the right way. We don't lose energy because we're old. We lose it because we're missing the nutrients and balance our bodies need to thrive in this stage of life. Once I started giving my body the right foods, I realized how much energy I still had left inside me. Energy, I thought, was gone forever. That's why I'm making this video, because I know I'm not alone. If you're over 60 and feeling drained, forgetful, moody, or just off, I want you to know it's not just aging. It's not laziness. It's not your fault. You can get your energy back. You can feel sharp, light, and strong again. You just need to start with what's on your plate. Coming up next, the first food that gave me my spark. Back in the next section, I'll tell you exactly what food I added to my diet that gave me my first real aha moment, the one that helped me finally feel alive again after years of dragging my feet. It's not some exotic superfood. It's not expensive, and you might already have it in your kitchen, but the way you eat it and when is what makes the difference. The first food that gave me my spark back. If someone had told me that a humble seed could change the way I felt every day, I would have laughed. But that's exactly what happened when I added chia seeds to my morning routine. Now, before, you roll your eyes, because I used to think foods like that were just health nut hype. Let me explain how I discovered this little miracle and why it became the first food that truly gave me my energy back after 60. A simple search turned into a morning habit. It started with a late-night deep dive into nutrition. I was reading articles and watching videos from doctors, nutritionists, and even other older adults who had battled the same fatigue I was feeling. One word kept coming up: omega-3s. Apparently, omega-3 fatty acids are essential for reducing inflammation, supporting brain health, and even improving energy levels. I always associated omega-3s with fish, but then I found something surprising. Chia seeds are one of the best plant-based sources of omega-3s out there. And not only that, they're also packed with fiber, protein, magnesium, and antioxidants. I figured, why not give them a try? What I felt after. Just a few days on the first morning, I stirred 2 tablespoons of chia seeds into my oatmeal. I let them soak for a few minutes until they got that thick, gel-like texture. I wasn't sure I'd like it, but to my surprise, the texture grew on me quickly. I added a few berries and a drizzle of honey, and it tasted great. But here's the real magic. By mid-morning, I didn't feel the crash I was used to. No brain fog, no reaching for coffee number 2. I was focused, grounded, and steady. At first, I thought it was just a good day. But then it happened again the next day, and the next. Within a week, I noticed my digestion improved. I was staying full longer, and I felt a kind of calm alertness that I hadn't experienced in a long time. Why? Chia seeds work so well for people over 60. When I looked into the science, it all made sense. Here's why chia seeds are so powerful, especially for people like us. They're loaded with omega-3s, ALA form. Omega-3s help reduce chronic inflammation, which is one of the sneaky causes of fatigue and joint stiffness as we age. They support stable blood sugar. Thanks to their high fiber content, chia seeds slow down the digestion of carbs, preventing the sugar crashes that drain energy. They hydrate the body. Chia seeds absorb up to 10x their weight in water, which helps maintain hydration, crucial for energy and brain function. They improve gut health. A healthy gut means better nutrient absorption. Chia seeds feed the good bacteria, which in turn improves digestion and energy. They're easy to prepare and affordable. I didn't need any fancy recipe. I just added them to yogurt, oatmeal, smoothies, even water with lemon. Easy, accessible, and zero excuses. My favorite chia recipes that keep me energized. Once I got hooked on chia, I started experimenting. These are my go-to ways to use them daily. Morning oatmeal. Booster. I mix chia seeds into my oats along with cinnamon, berries, and almond milk. Chia water. Energy drink alternative. I soak a tablespoon of chia seeds in a glass of lemon water overnight. In the morning, I shake it up and drink it as a hydrating, energizing tonic. Chia pudding. Combine chia seeds, unsweetened almond milk, vanilla, and a dash of honey. Let it sit overnight and enjoy it as a snack or dessert. High energy, low guilt. These aren't meals that take hours to prepare. They're quick, filling, and fuel me better than anything I used to eat in my old routine. One change opened the door to many others. Here's the truth. I didn't expect chia seeds to work, but after a week or two of including them regularly, I realized something powerful. Making one small food change gave me the momentum to make more. When I started feeling better, I wanted to keep going. I had the energy to try new things. I was no longer dragging myself through the day, and all of that started with adding a food most people overlook. That's why I call chia seeds my gateway food, the one that opened my eyes to how much power I still had over my energy, even in my 60s. Common questions I get about chia seeds from my friends and family. Aren't they too trendy or expensive? Not at all. I buy mine in bulk from a local store. They last a long time, and just one bag can keep you going for weeks. Isn't the texture weird? It can be, but if you let them soak and pair them with other flavors, like fruit or vanilla, they become really enjoyable. Do they really make a difference? Absolutely. You won't believe it until you feel it for yourself, but once you do, there's no going back. Coming up. Next, the surprising simple food that changed everything. In the next section, I'll share the second food that became a cornerstone of my daily energy routine. It's not exotic, not new, and definitely not fancy. In fact, it's probably in your fridge or pantry right now. But how you eat it and what you eat it with makes all the difference. This one helped me balance my blood sugar, reduce that afternoon crash, and get back to walking more, thinking clearly, and even sleeping better. Then I discovered this simple food was a game changer. After chia seeds worked their quiet magic, I became a believer in food as medicine and fuel. But I still felt like I was missing something. I had more energy, yes, but I wanted sustained, reliable energy, especially in the afternoons when my body used to crash like clockwork. That's when I turned my attention to something much more familiar. Eggs, I know. It's not glamorous. Eggs are the most normal food out there. But I'm telling you now, the way I started eating eggs and what I combined them with completely transformed how my body felt and performed, especially in the second half of the day. How a boring breakfast became my secret weapon. Growing up, eggs were a staple in our home. Scrambled on toast, hard-boiled in lunch boxes, or fried on weekends with sausage and potatoes. They were comfort food. But somewhere along the way, probably in the haze of cholesterol warnings and diet trends, I drifted away from them. It wasn't until I stumbled on a podcast with a doctor specializing in nutrition for older adults that I took a second look. He said something that stuck with me. One egg contains almost everything your body needs to turn food into energy. That line hit me like a ton of bricks. I dug deeper, and sure enough, eggs are absolutely packed with B vitamins, choline, iron, selenium, and high-quality protein. These are the exact nutrients our bodies start to struggle with after 60, especially B12 and choline, which are essential for brain function, energy metabolism, and preventing fatigue. So I decided to bring eggs back, not just casually, but intentionally. Why? Eggs are perfect for people over 60. Here's what makes eggs such a powerful energy food for us. Rich in B12 and B2, riboflavin. B vitamins help convert food into usable energy. Without them, even a great meal leaves you feeling tired. Choline for brain and nervous system. Health choline supports memory, focus, and mood. After 60, our choline needs increase, but most of us don't get nearly enough. Complete protein. Eggs contain all 9 essential amino acids, helping to preserve muscle mass and support recovery after walking, gardening, or exercising. Satiety, see fewer energy. Dips high-protein breakfasts keep blood sugar stable, which means fewer crashes and cravings later in the day. Affordable and versatile. You don't need expensive supplements. Eggs are inexpensive, easy to cook, and incredibly flexible. How I change the way I eat eggs. I used to just fry an egg, toss it on toast, and be done. But after learning more about blood sugar and energy, I realized that what I ate with my eggs mattered just as much. Here's what I started doing instead. Veggie-packed scramble. I saute spinach, mushrooms, and tomatoes in olive oil, then scramble in 2 whole eggs. Sometimes I add a pinch of turmeric for its anti-inflammatory benefits. This combo gives me fiber, antioxidants, protein, and lasting fuel. Boiled egg, plus avocado plate A. Hard-boiled egg with half an avocado, a sprinkle of salt and chili flakes, and a handful of walnuts. This is my go-to snack in the late morning or afternoon. Keeps me full, sharp, and satisfied. Egg muffins, for on the go. Energy. I bake eggs in muffin tins with chopped veggies and a little cheese. I make a batch for the week, so I always have something energizing ready when I'm short on time. By building these meals around whole foods, healthy fats, and fiber, I wasn't just eating eggs. I was fueling my body with meals that worked. With my biology. The afternoon slump disappeared. I can't tell you how many years I wasted thinking that the 2 p.m. crash was normal. It's not. Once I started building better meals with eggs as the star, that crash vanished. I was alert, steady, and more productive. Not wired, not jittery, just solid. I stopped needing coffee in the afternoon. I didn't reach for cookies or chips because I wasn't craving anything. My energy was even and long-lasting, something I hadn't experienced in decades. But wait, what about cholesterol? Let's talk about the elephant in the room, cholesterol. Yes, eggs contain cholesterol, but the more I researched, the more I realized the science has changed. For most people, dietary cholesterol doesn't raise blood cholesterol significantly. In fact, the real culprits behind heart issues are trans fats, processed foods, and sugar, not whole eggs. Still, I checked with my doctor, which I recommend for everyone, and he gave me the green light to eat up to 1-2 eggs a day. Some days, I eat 1, some days, none. It's all about balance. Why this simple food made a big impact? What surprised me most about eggs wasn't just the nutrition, it was how grounded they made me feel. When I eat a good egg-based meal, I don't just have energy, I feel present. I'm less anxious. I can concentrate better. My conversations feel clearer. I sleep more soundly. It's like my nervous system thanks me every time. All that from a food we've known since childhood. It just goes to show. Sometimes the most powerful solutions are the simplest ones. We just need to use them in smarter ways. My advice for you. If you're over 60 and feeling run down, I encourage you to try adding eggs back into your diet in a thoughtful way. Don't just slap one on white toast with butter. Build a balanced plate around it. Include greens, fiber, and good fats. Give it a week or 2 and see how you feel. Energy isn't something we have to chase with caffeine or sugar. It's something we can build, meal by meal. Coming up next, the 2 forgotten foods that rebuilt my energy from the inside out. In the next section, I'll share 2 powerful but often overlooked foods that helped me heal my gut, reduce bloating, and absorb nutrients better, leading to deeper, longer-lasting energy throughout the day. These were the missing links I didn't even know I needed until I felt what life was like with them. These 2 forgotten foods rebuilt my energy from the inside out. By the time I was regularly eating chia seeds and eggs, my energy levels were already climbing. But there was something still holding me back, something I couldn't quite put my finger on. I'd wake up with decent energy, have a solid breakfast, and stay steady through most of the morning. But by mid-afternoon, I sometimes felt a bit sluggish. Not the same full-on crash I used to get, but still a noticeable dip. A sort of mental fog and a little heaviness in my body. I began to wonder, could the problem be inside my gut? That's when I started reading about digestive health and nutrient absorption, especially as it relates to people over 60. It turns out, even the best foods can't help you if your body isn't absorbing them properly. That's when I discovered two forgotten but powerful foods: fermented foods and bone broth. Together, these became my secret weapons, rebuilding my energy from the inside out. The gut-energy connection. I never knew about. Before I hit my 60s, I never paid much attention to gut health. I thought bloating, gas, or sluggish digestion was just something to live with. But I couldn't have been more wrong. The truth is, our gut is responsible for absorbing nutrients and producing key energy-related compounds like vitamins B and K, and even some neurotransmitters like serotonin, which affect mood and motivation. But here's the kicker. As we age, the diversity and strength of our gut microbiome, the community of good bacteria, declines. That means even if we're eating healthier, we might not be getting the full benefit of those foods. So if you're low on energy, even with a decent diet, your gut could be the missing piece. Food number 3, fermented foods. Small bites, big impact, fermented. Foods were a complete mystery to me for most of my life. I knew about yogurt, sure, but beyond that, nothing. Then one day, my neighbor Ruth, an energetic 75-year-old who gardens like she's in her 40s, offered me some homemade sauerkraut. I hesitated at first, but she told me it was the key to her digestion, energy, and even immunity. That night, I added a small scoop to my dinner. The next morning, no bloating. By the end of the week, lighter digestion, clearer thinking, and smoother energy. I was sold. Why fermented foods? Help. They're full of probiotics, which restore healthy gut bacteria. They improve digestion, so you absorb more nutrients from your meals. They can help reduce inflammation, which can cause fatigue and joint pain. My favorite fermented foods. Sauerkraut. Just a tablespoon with lunch or dinner works wonders. Plain yogurt. I choose unsweetened, full-fat versions for breakfast or snacks. Kefir. A tangy fermented milk drink. I use it in smoothies. Kimchi. A spicy Korean side dish I enjoy with eggs or rice. Miso. Fermented soybean paste. I make a simple miso soup with green onions. Even just one small serving a day made a huge difference in my digestion and overall energy. Food number 4, bone broth, liquid gold for energy and recovery. Now let's talk about the food that completely revived my joints, digestion, and stamina. Bone broth. This is something my grandmother used to make. I remember the smell filling her kitchen for hours as the broth simmered on the stove. Back then, I just thought it was old-fashioned soup. Now I know it was liquid nutrition at its best. Bone broth is made by simmering bones, chicken, beef, turkey, for a long time, sometimes 12 to 24 hours, with water, a splash of vinegar, herbs, and vegetables. This slow process pulls out collagen, amino acids, minerals, and gelatin, all essential for tissue repair, gut health, and yes, sustained energy. How bone broth transformed me. My joints felt more flexible and less achy after a couple of weeks. I slept better, deeper, more restful sleep, which gave me more energy during the day. My digestion became smoother, especially after larger meals. I recovered faster after walks and physical activity. How I use bone broth. Every week I started by making it myself, which is surprisingly easy. But I also found high-quality store-bought versions with no added preservatives or artificial flavors. Here's how I use it. Morning cup instead of coffee. Warm and comforting but without the caffeine jitters. Soup base. I use it in Vegetable soups or chicken stews, cooking rice or grains, replaces water for more flavor and nutrition. Sipping at night helps relax the body before bed. Just a cup a day makes a noticeable difference. It's not just what you eat, it's what your body can use. These two foods taught me something profound. You can eat healthy, but if your gut isn't thriving, you're still running on low power. By including fermented foods and bone broth regularly, I felt like my system was finally online. My food wasn't just going in, it was doing its job. I started feeling energized from my core. Instead of borrowing energy from sugar or caffeine, it felt natural, sustainable, right. If you've tried healthy eating, but still feel tired, start here. You don't need to overhaul your whole diet overnight. Just try adding a tablespoon of sauerkraut or kimchi with your meal, a cup of bone broth mid-morning or evening. Give it 7 to 10 days. You might feel lighter, stronger, and more alive than you have in years. Coming up next, the final food that brought it all together. In the next section, I'll tell you about the fifth and final food, the one that helped me tie everything together. It boosted my mental clarity, gave me a gentle lift in mood, and kept me active throughout the day without the ups and downs. It's not a trendy superfood or an expensive powder. It's a natural, delicious, and easy addition you've probably already seen at your local store, and once you understand how to use it, it could become your daily energy companion. The one food that became my daily energy companion. By now, with chia seeds, eggs, fermented foods, and bone broth in my regular routine, I felt like I had built a strong foundation for my energy. But I still wanted something to round it. All out, something fresh, natural, and uplifting that could give me a consistent mental and physical lift without the side effects. I didn't want caffeine jitters. I didn't want a sugar rush. I just wanted something that would quietly support my brain, boost my focus, and keep me feeling sharp, even as the day wore on. And that's when I found berries, especially blueberries. Now, before you roll your eyes and think, of course, berries, hear me out. I had eaten them before, but never with the intention of supporting my energy. And once I started using them in a smarter way, these little fruits became my daily energy companion. Why berries are perfect for energy? After 60, there's something almost magical about berries. They're sweet, refreshing, and colorful, but they're also nutritional powerhouses. And unlike the sugary snacks that used to tempt me in the afternoons, berries give you a lift without the crash. Here's why I fell in love with them again. They're packed with antioxidants. As we age, our bodies face more oxidative stress. This just means our cells are under constant attack from environmental and internal stressors. The antioxidants in berries help protect and repair cells, which keeps our bodies and minds functioning at their best. Brain-boosting flavonoids, blueberries in particular, contain a group of plant compounds called flavonoids. Research shows that these compounds support memory, improve blood flow to the brain, and even help delay mental decline. Low glycemic index. No sugar crash. Unlike candy or baked goods, berries release their sugars slowly into the bloodstream. That means steady energy, not spikes and crashes. They support gut health. Too, because berries are rich in fiber, they feed the good bacteria in your gut, helping you absorb nutrients better, which is key for long-term energy. The day I swapped my cookies for berries, it started with a simple swap. I used to reach for cookies or crackers in the afternoon, a quick snack, a comfort food, a reward. But those always left me feeling sluggish. One day, instead of my usual snack, I made myself a small bowl of blueberries, raspberries, and a handful of almonds. Just like that. No sugar, no honey, nothing added. The difference was instant and lasting. I didn't just avoid the crash, I actually felt refreshed, like someone had lifted a fog off my brain. I had more clarity, more pep, and most, surprisingly, a better mood. How I eat berries. every day. Here's how I've built berries into my daily life in a way that feels like a treat but acts like fuel. Morning smoothie. I blend half a banana, a handful of frozen blueberries, a tablespoon of chia seeds, a scoop of plain yogurt, and a splash of kefir. Sometimes I add spinach or avocado for extra nutrients. It's delicious, energizing, and easy on digestion. Afternoon berry bowl. Instead of tea and cookies, I make a small bowl of mixed berries, blueberries, strawberries, blackberries, with a spoonful of Greek yogurt and some crushed walnuts. The combination of fiber, protein, and healthy fat keeps me full and focused. Evening treat. When I want something sweet at night, I freeze berries and blend them into a sorbet with just a dash of cinnamon. It satisfies my cravings without sabotaging my sleep or blood sugar. Why this final food brought it all together. With berries in my routine, something clicked. I wasn't just maintaining energy anymore, I was thriving. I noticed I could concentrate longer during conversations or reading. My walking stamina improved, especially uphill or on longer trails. I even started waking up with a sense of lightness, like my body wasn't dragging anymore. In a way, berries became the bridge between my body and my mind. They lifted my physical energy and supported my mood and cognition. And they tasted amazing, which made it all the easier to stay consistent. The big takeaway from my energy journey. Looking back, I used to think feeling tired was just part of aging. But now I realize, low energy isn't a sentence, it's a signal. A signal that something inside needs support, not punishment. A signal that maybe we're not feeding ourselves in the right way for this stage of life. What I've learned is that energy after 60 is built, not borrowed, and the 5 foods that helped me build it are chia seeds, for fiber, hydration, and sustained release energy, eggs, for B vitamins, choline, and protein to power my morning's fermented foods, for gut health and nutrient absorption, bone broth, for joint support and deeper recovery, berries, for antioxidants, brain clarity, and gentle natural energy. Each of these foods has its own strengths, but together, they created a foundation that made me feel whole again, not just alive, but vibrant. My challenge to you. If you're over 60 and struggling with low energy, I invite you to try what I did. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to change everything overnight. Just pick one of these foods and add it to your daily life for the next week. Notice how you feel. Journal your energy. Pay attention to your digestion, your sleep, your clarity. You might be surprised by how quickly your body responds. And once that first change takes hold, add the next food. Let your body guide you. Let your energy rebuild itself naturally, from the inside out. You deserve energy. Not exhaustion. Aging doesn't have to mean slowing down. It can mean living smarter, eating with intention, and listening to the signals our body has been trying to send for years. With the right foods, you don't just manage aging, you master it. So here's to you, your energy, your second act, and all the delicious natural foods that can help power your days ahead.